Hey everyone, this is Lauren Stein over here at Activate. Today we're going to be changing it up a little bit. We're going to be covering a program customers can use with Activate called KnowledgeSync. We've got two guest speakers today. Michelle Barr with Firefly Business Group is going to be the main presenter to show you all the tools that you can use with KnowledgeSync. And then we're also going to be rounding it out with Tim Murphy towards the end, who is an Activate customer working with Firefly utilizing this KnowledgeSync tool. So we can go ahead and get started, and I'll go ahead and hand it off to Michelle.
Great, thank you, Lauren. And also, we're going to just be doing a presentation, and if there are any questions, isn't there a box they could type questions into, or is it something that we're going to answer at the end? What's the format today?
Yes, they'll have a question box that they can enter in. I'll be monitoring that while you're presenting, and then towards the end, we can either let people raise their hands if they want to and speak, or we could just list off the questions that we want to go over.
Okay, great. I do expect plenty of questions. So today, I want to say hi to everyone and thank you for attending. I would like to thank Activate for providing this opportunity to discuss with you today a product that we represent called KnowledgeSync. My name is Michelle Barr. I'm the owner and partner of Firefly Business Group. I'm excited to share this information with you as we have been working with this product for over 2 years, and we have found that it allows our customers to extend the capabilities of Activate. As Lauren had mentioned, our guest on the call today is Tim Murphy with Murphy Industrial Products. He'll be speaking a little bit later in the presentation. He has been an Activate customer since 2010 and has used KnowledgeSync to help his business for almost 2 years. I will share with you some of the ideas we have worked on with him, but he'll also be able to give you his perspective of how this has helped his business. This is my contact information, which will also be available at the end of the presentation. While we will not be showing you the actual software today, it is very technical in nature. If any of you have ever got into Crystal Reports, you'll find that KnowledgeSync is actually way more technical behind the scenes. What we're going to present to you is some examples of the output and share many of the ideas of what it can do. This software is very flexible for us to program for it to do what is needed for your business based on the data in your database. Does work with Activate. It does work with other databases. So let me kind of describe what KnowledgeSync is. It is a database monitoring tool that reviews defined activities and automatically sends a response when a condition is met. So it is a tool that connects to an actual database itself, where we are going to set up little queries and programs to say when XYZ happens, which is the condition, then do this. And we're going to walk through some of those examples. It also is going to allow you, the information that comes out is going to allow you to make more intelligent and timely business decisions. There are 3 modules that come with the software that determines what we can automate. And so I'm going to go through each one of those modules and make sure you understand at different points when we're switching concepts between modules. The first thing you can do is to automate emails. There are a lot of things that we can automate with email alerts, and I'm going to discuss and show you some examples over the next few slides. Some of the things that we automate are things that have not happened in the database. Possibly it's requiring data in the system that's not complete. Sometimes what we'll look at are fields on a customer screen or on a sales order screen that your users have forgot to complete. This is key information to run your business. If they don't complete it, then it messes up the whole process. So we can send out an email to you at the end of the day saying, these are all the orders that were entered today, and this is the information that was missing from those orders that was pertinent to your business. Maybe a customer has not purchased in a while. So what we could do is send a weekly or monthly list at the end of a day, particular day that we would set, of customers who have not purchased in X days. I believe we have something like this going on for Murphy Industrial as well. Maybe leads are not followed up. We would need to have a criteria within the database, such as a date within a business activity, or that you're setting up a follow-up response date, or maybe a quote that you have a date that you're changing and saying this is the last follow-up. Orders that are not shipped, either they're not shipped at all, they're not shipped on time. So what we're going to do is attach it to the date and monitor within X number of days after the order was supposed to ship, then send out an alert. Here is an example of an alert and what one would look like. So in this particular alert, what it's showing you is that at the end of the day, these are the orders that were created that did not have a salesperson identified in the order. So this is what an alert email would look like at the end of the day. And the columns of what we put into the alert are completely customizable. It depends on the information that you need, but here's an example. Another type of alert could be things that have happened that you might want to know about. Possibly your order has shipped. You need to get an email that the order is shipped. With Murphy Industrial, we've actually made a huge breakthrough and did a really cool PDF. This is a PDF version because I needed to modify it for you guys to take out some of the customer-specific data. But this goes as in the email body for his customers, and it gives the details of, hey, your order shipped today. This is what shipped. Here's your tracking number and other information. So this is really cool to be able to spice up that email to where it's not just plain vanilla, and it used some of his colors. So I think it's a nice marketing tool for him as well. And as I mentioned, you can click on the tracking and be able to track that shipment. You can have a notification when special order items received in stock. This is really cool if you're using the special order module within Activate and allow you to identify that possibly the customer, email the salesperson, whoever you want it to email, that as soon as that receipt happens in the system, to send out that notification. Maybe when a customer is put on credit hold, we can send out a notification to the salesperson, hey, your customer just got put on credit hold. Another example of things that have happened, if we wanted to show some alerts, are POs that were created today. So this is going to show a list of, at the end of the day, these are all the POs that were created in the system, and you can have these alerts go out to many people. I have some of my customers sending them internally, but we also have some sending out to their vendors. We can do a list of POs for a particular vendor that was created that day and send it off to the vendor so they know, or maybe it's to their third-party manufacturing company. We would automate email alerts for date-sensitive conditions. I've kind of mentioned that a couple times in some of the other alerts because they all intertwine. An idea would be alert of orders that are on a status too long. So you can maybe use this with workflow status. We've done some tracking on the additional date and times a certain workflow statuses have been set, or maybe it's just been in the backordered status for too long. Due dates missed on orders or purchase orders. So if we know that a particular order, as mentioned again, was supposed to ship on a particular date, or POs were supposed to arrive by a certain date, give me a list every Monday so I know who to call on and where to check on these things. Maybe clients are overdue on invoices by certain days. Now, this one gets really cool, and we've done this with one of our customers. We're actually sending out emails to his clients saying, hey, your invoice is 45 days past due. Do you need a copy? What's going on? So it really has helped him by saving money on collections for him to not have to do that. Here's an example of just an internal customer's 45 days past their current due balance. Probably would throw an invoice date column, invoice number and invoice date column on here, but this is just on the balance. So you could do either or, the customer or specific invoices. But as I said, we could send that off directly to customers as well. As an individual, obviously we wouldn't want the customer to see every other customer. It would be specific to that customer. Another way we could use alerts is if we are approaching a threshold. Maybe clients nearing their credit limit, possibly items nearing the reorder point. We like to have everybody use the function within the Activate to the reorder wizard, but some people like to have an email to come out. Maybe it's going to go to different people in the company. Sales over X dollars. Maybe the email the CEO when an order over $10,000 was placed that day. So that's a happy threshold. Hey, we just had a huge order come in today, and we want to let everybody know about that. Maybe we want to know about exceptions to normal processing, such as too many late shipments, profit margin too low on specific orders or invoices. We've done a lot of reports about the profit margins being too low for different customers, but that requires them to run the report. So this, in an alert example, this would be once the order was created. Now we have to be careful how often are we checking for the alerts. We wouldn't want to check every minute because it's going to tie up server processing time, but we could say every half hour or at the end of the day or something of that nature. So we're watching where within a certain profit margin, anything below 10% or whatever your your target percentage is to send a listing of alerts. Data changes. Now, the system can monitor when data changes, but you must be very specific on a limited number of fields. And I want to stop and talk about this for just a second because we get this question a lot. Hey, Michelle, if somebody changed this order, I want to know what they changed and what they did. We don't have any kind of audit log of the entire database and every single thing that was changed in the database within Activate. But we can set up KnowledgeSync to monitor certain fields, very specific. I want you to, think very limited number of fields because you don't want to all of a sudden monitor every single field within a sales order detail line. But maybe we might want to monitor when somebody changed a price. One very specific thing. So it does take, processing time to set this up. But some of the things that we have done with customers are we've set up to where if a credit status has changed, if a limit has changed, we've set up if an item cost was changed, such as maybe the last cost, requested ship date change. So on one client, we set up when the PO promise date for when the PO was supposed to arrive changed. So who in the company possibly went into the data, edited the PO, and made the change that the shipment is going to come in differently now. We need to notify many people in the company that has changed. This is what that particular one looked like. I kind of hid some of their information, but what the system does is it captures, this is the purchase order number. It captured what the old date was. Now, sometimes for some reason there was null dates in the database. This is a real email that went out. And then what the new date was going to be. So we can do date changes, but like I said, it's not the same as auditing every single field in the database. So please realize it's a little bit limited. That was email alerts. So I'm switching to a new module within KnowledgeSync. So now we're going to discuss automate reports. So anything that is a Crystal report that we've designed with a Crystal report will fall under this umbrella. One of the things that's pretty common is email out of office personnel, things that are happening, such as sales, shipments, and we're going to send a list of the reports. An example of that would be maybe at the end of the month, I'm going to send out the monthly sales analysis. You can see in this one that it is a PDF that is attached. Now, it can come as a PDF and it can come as an Excel version because a lot of people like Excel. So I could have set it up to go either way. So this is one of the custom reports that we sell on our website, but this is a monthly sales analysis report. And I'm sending it out to each of the salespeople so they can see the quantities or they could see the monthly dollar amount of what was sold. But that's something where we have, it's very useful when we have a lot of outside people. And I see that very common within our customers. They're getting more and more outside people working outside. Either the owners are working outside, the sales staff are working outside, and they want it. And so it's somebody's job to run reports every month and send it out. Well, that costs money and it costs time, which costs money. So to be able to have the system automatically send it out on the last day of every month or whatever the criteria is, at the end of every week, send out reports automatically for you could really help your business. Another feature that we've had several customers go with is to automatically batch email PDF invoices to customers at the end of the day. So at the end of every day, we invoice all of our customers all day long, but we want to email them the invoice. So you can email them something like what I showed you earlier in the Murphy example. We can make this an invoice, or we can actually send via the reports module. We can actually send to where the invoice is a PDF of your actual invoice. So it would be whatever it is that you would stop and say email PDF invoice out. And then whatever text you have in here is whatever you want it to be. So for example, we have your PO number. What is the PO number for the order? So dear customer, please see the attached invoice for your PO. This right here is all customizable, and so whatever you want to be in the email body. And I did see that somebody has kind of asked a question about that. We'll go back and look at those questions individually. But you can have a batch email, meaning it goes in the evening, grabs all the invoices that have been created that day. And I have had questions in the past, can we do it to specific customers? Yes, we can make a custom field on the customer or do it by a customer type that says, if you have this check mark set on your customer, then you are eligible to receive a copy of the emails at the end of the day of your invoices, if that makes sense. Another thing that we can do is when we are doing the collections, we can send out, hey, your invoice is 45 days past due. Here's a copy of the invoice in case you need that, because that's usually the next question. So you can kind of think past just emailing the daily invoice to emailing an invoice for collections. Product availability to customers. So we do this with one of our customers. We send out an Excel file, and what the customers do is some of them I think may import it into their system as much as maybe it's just going out and it's showing them the listing of these are the items and this is what we have on hand, or maybe you might have availability. And then we throw in another little message so it kind of helps people if they want to sort, if it's in stock, out of stock, things like that. So this is something that we did very easily with KnowledgeSync, and we do with one of our customers. He's sending it out to a lot of his manufacturer reps so they have visibility of what's going on in the system. Schedule reports that take long processing time. So if you do have a report that takes forever to run, and you just want to schedule it to have it in your inbox the next morning, that would be an ideal use of automating reports as well. So this is reports, and as I said, and we could do this with Activate standard reports, any custom report you want. It can come into Excel, PDF, pretty flexible, but it's basically scheduling reports. The next capability, and this is going to be another module, and I'll go through that in the pricing, but is automated file transfer. Now, this is used when we have a system on the other end waiting to receive and pick up a file. So I'm going to walk through a couple examples of that. A lot of times when we're sending out a file, it goes to a designated FTP site. In the last example, I showed you where we can send a file of data, but it's going to somebody's email address. Where a designated FTP site is typically where I'm going to have, if I'm sending this to my customer, then he has it programmed to receive the file from on his end, automatically suck it into his database and populate the data, whatever he's looking for. Let me walk through a couple other ideas on that. So you could send customized product or customer uploads to the website, which we do that for some of our customers. We upload that website's usually an FTP. We could upload the product quantity, and we do that with one of our customers, and then he has a routine programmed into his website to bring in that. And we have it set up 3 or 4 times a day because the quantities change constantly throughout the day as we're bringing in orders. And then we have some rules set for him, like -3 and, you know, some just different things. So we do some little bit of customizing for him. You can automatic sending files to the 3PL or to an external warehouse. Activate does have a 940, 945 transaction through EDI, but sometimes that hasn't necessarily worked out, so we have used KnowledgeSync in a way to where we can, you know, work through that. It is a great module, by the way. Don't mean to downplay that, but we can do different things where sometimes the warehouses will have a very specific requirement. Sometimes maybe we go back to the reports module. We're just automating pick tickets for them all day long. 3PL warehouses are becoming more popular, and they are wanting to exchange data. So this might be an opportunity to look at that. Electronic file of invoices, so CSV text files to the customer to upload to their system. I have an example of what it looks like. It's kind of boring, but here's a CSV of invoices that went out that day. So then if we're doing high volume with one particular customer, we could send them a list of all of the invoices automatically without having somebody to run and export and email this report, and then their system will pick that up. Now, with customers that are on software maintenance, they just announced a new feature that is really cool we wanted to put into this presentation today. It's new in version 9 of KnowledgeSync. So if any of my existing customers are on the presentation today, they want to have us upgrade them to version 9 and start taking advantage of new features, let us know. This just came out this week, so this is just brand new. It's pretty exciting, but it allows all of you on this call who have not purchased KnowledgeSync yet know of some more really cool stuff that we can do with the system. They call this close the loop with alert acknowledgements, and I'm just going to kind of walk through some of this. This is straight from their newsletter. A way for a recipient. So when the recipient receives it, I received this message. Yes, I will be able to take care of the task. No, I can't do that, and here's why. I will be able to do that with these considerations. So basically what we're setting this up is when you send out that alert email, then this is giving an opportunity for the customer to acknowledge the alert. So I'm going to go through a couple more examples that they've provided, and then I have a couple screenshots to show you. So they have 6 types of acknowledgements. One's just regular acknowledgement. They've received it. This one says that they will acknowledge it and details what action will be taken. This one gives them a yes or no question within the alert. Acknowledge yes or no with a response, so whether or not we put in a question into it, and then have a box for them to show their own comments. They have a yes, no, cancel option. Yes, no, cancel, and a response. So it's kind of all a little bit of the same thing, but I think you kind of get a variety of what you can do there. Although we haven't set this up yet because it was just released this week, here is an example that I got from them so I could show you. So here is the body of an email. Now this does come with the alert module. If you decide to just purchase alerts, or if that's the only module you currently own, this is part of that module. We would just need to set it up. But within the body of this email, there is a link that they would click. And when they click that link, it takes it back to your website. So it's not really your website, it's an internal website. And this gets kind of technical. We'd have to get probably maybe your IT person involved a little bit here. But this is an HTML page that it would take them back to that allow them to do the yes, no, or type in their reply and hit the submit acknowledgement. So this uses IIS services on your server. It's not really additional software, it's just things that have to be set up and configured. So if that helps you with that. Really cool stuff. At this point, I want to bring in Tim Murphy from Murphy Industrial Products, who, as we mentioned earlier, currently uses Activate and KnowledgeSync. And I've asked him to share his experience. Thank you, Tim, for joining us, and why don't you tell people your opinions.
Hi, everybody. I love this product, and I feel like I've tested it out for any of those. I feel like a little bit of a guinea pig, kind of joking there, but it really is an excellent product. And if I didn't have this product now, it would really bother me. Basically, if there are any CEOs or managers on the phone, this is something that you'll eventually decide is crucial to your business. If you believe that a business should automate anything that can be automated, KnowledgeSync performs that task for you. So if you have employees that you're always having to look after, or if you're tired of hunting for information and you want to have the computer bring the information to you, so that you can free up an extra 20 or 30 minutes a day. This is a bolt-on product to Activate that gets that done. And it's really very simple. Once you decide that you want the product, Firefly implements it, and you're up and running rather quickly. And you begin to get the information in whatever format you want. So for example, I get emails at the end of the day that show me what the open quotes are in my company, or I see what new business came into the company so that I can have an automated report sent to me. One of my favorite reports is a daily reminder to my inside sales team of what their gross margins are so that they can see where they are on a day-by-day basis. And they also get that report at the end of the week and the end of the month so they can see how they're doing. And this has been a real profit driver for our company. One of my favorite other things that KnowledgeSync does is that it does the little menial tasks like reminding inside salespeople that they didn't get a credit card for a certain order, or that they forgot to fill in a certain field that's critical to marketing. It will continue to send them emails until they get that done. So like I said before, if you can imagine anything that you want to automate or that you want to make sure that people are doing, and it involves information or a reminder type activity, this is the perfect product to add on to Activate. So maybe we can answer some questions now, Michelle?
Sure. One is there a way to set up an alert for orders that haven't been printed? We do have a flag in the back end of Activate that would tell us whether or not it's been printed. We always have to be careful because the sales order screen, if you preview, then that's kind of the same as printed, but there are a couple flags and we can work through that. So absolutely, we could set up an alert that would show you at the end of the day what wasn't printed. Can an alert be sent to more than one person? Absolutely. So we program, when we set up each alert, we program in who's going to receive it. Now, the receiving person can be, hey, it always goes to the warehouse guy and the purchasing guy, and we set up who those emails are. Or it can go to external people, somebody who's a contact within the sales order, the invoice, the customer screen, maybe a contact within the purchasing screen, with a copy to the salesperson that's associated to the order. So we've done all sorts of different things like that. Can reports from KnowledgeSync be sent out as an Excel file attachment via email instead of showing in the body? Yes, and I think I did show that when we did the current availability, which was this one. So it was an Excel file, and it is within that reports module. Can you receive an email alert for a custom field? Absolutely. All those fields are within Activate. So can invoices be sent via file transfer and automatically be entered into the customer system? So that would be the module that I discussed, which is the file transfer module, where it would probably be, I would say you would send a list of invoices for the day. And typically we get a list requirements. They will have very specific. We've done this for several different customers now, and their requirements sometimes are text files, sometimes it's delimited by comma, sometimes it's tab, sometimes it's a type, sometimes it's really crazy stuff, but we've been able to do this a few times now. In other words, how customizable is this from the user standpoint? You know, this is a very technical product, Tony. So I'm not saying that the users can't do it. We have trained a couple of the IT people to do it, but we get in there and we do a lot of linking between tables and databases. So it gets very technical, and a lot of people are going to depend on us to go in and set things up. If you are the IT guy of the company and you're already customizing reports and writing SQL queries, then we were more than happy to show you how to do it, and then we're an extension of a support extension for you for things that get tricky. How do you set up one of these automated emails? Well, you have to buy the software, and then we will get them set up for you. How CPU intensive is KnowledgeSync? We try to make sure that when we set this up that we work with you to not have it monitor every single minute. If we're doing things at the end of the day, it just takes about 30 seconds for it to run, so it's not CPU intensive. We have found that if we try to monitor something every single 30 seconds or every minute, then it is going to take up way too much CPU time, and we would advise you not to set that up. Question, will this software work if your email server is on a different server than Activate? I believe so, because it's going to use an ODBC connection to talk to it. So I don't think that that would be a problem. Can you set it up to receive an alert when a new item is created? Absolutely, because we could capture within the database the product creation date. So at the end of the day, we can even just send you a list. These are all the new items created today, and I think we've done that before. Can we use KnowledgeSync to bring data from an outside system and activate automatically? Now, there is an action capability within the file transfer module that we really haven't tapped into. Theoretically, yes, but I'm going to put a huge disclaimer on that I am not going to walk down a path of updating too much information into the Activate tables. We like to honor their tables and not throw stuff into it that we think might break down the road or cause any kind of problems. So I would really need to understand exactly what you're trying to do and proceed cautiously with that.
I do want to tell you that this is almost like having a full-time employee that just takes care of all the little pain in the neck details for us. One thing that we've done is when we put an order in will call and shipping says the order is now complete, the customer gets an email immediately that says, come get your order. If they haven't picked it up, then the next morning at 7:30, they get another email, and that continues until they come and get their product. So it helps the customer, because how many of you listening on the phone, you know, you put something in will call, or the customer said they were going to come by and get it, and then they blame you for not reminding them that they should have picked it up. This gets rid of that. It really makes your organization look very professional. You know, I'm not sure what you guys are charging for this thing. I can't remember what I paid for it, it's been totally worth the value. It's ridiculous value, and I would not give this product up. It's just that good.
Well, thank you for that endorsement. So let me just segue that right into pricing. I know we piqued your interest. So let me kind of go through the pricing. I try to separate out the information earlier for you. So we have the alerts only module, which was all the different email alerts, and that comes at $1,800. They do charge an annual maintenance fee of $400 per year. Now remember, I told you if you stay on maintenance, then it allows us to work with support if we have any questions or issues with anything specific with your setup, but it also gets you the software upgrade. So if you're on support, then you get the software upgrade of all of the acknowledgments that I showed earlier. The second module would be alerts and reports. So everybody always gets alerts. So if you want to add on the reports module, then it's $2,800, and then the software maintenance is going to be $600. Not everybody needs file transfer. They do bundle it if you buy all three at once. If you think there's maybe any inkling that you may want the file transfer module, then it's I think like a $500 savings to go ahead and get that. Otherwise, I think it's about $600 savings. It's a $1,200 if you wait and get it and add it on later. So it is a savings if the first time. Now, one cool thing that we can tell you about, and we've started out all of our customers, is there is a free 30-day trial. I'm going to put that up here, and I'm also going to let you know that it's not just the software. Realize that we are a consulting firm. I have people hired and trained to install the software and to set it up. So all of our time is chargeable. Even if you do the 30-day trial and you decide you don't want to keep it, our time was still chargeable. It takes about an hour to install, maybe 30, 45 minutes for each alert. So if you just wanted to set it up and try it for 30 days and make sure you're happy with it, then you won't be charged for the software, but you will receive an invoice for our time. You don't have to set up 50 alerts to know if you're going to like it. You could set it up for, 2 to 3 of them, and you would know pretty quickly if it's going to work for you and if you're going to be happy with it. And it is something that we could schedule. A couple cleanup things after this is I want to remind you the Activate help site is awesome. I use it all the time. When I have customers asking me questions, I will go there. Obviously, I know a lot have been around for a long time, but sometimes I'm looking for certain keywords. So make sure you're using the help site. Here's our contact information. You can find out a little bit more about KnowledgeSync on our website. We also there's a video. To be honest with you, I'd have to look at it. I'm not sure that it actually shows the software, but it can maybe show a little bit more than what we did today. On our website, you can also find custom reports that we sell. We have a reduced price selection of reports, things that we've done that we've seen a lot of customers need. Past that, I thank you so much for your time. Tim and I will stay on to answer any other questions you may have.
I have a question.
What's your question?
What is a data transfer? What's that third component if you buy the whole package? It's file transfer or data transfer. Can you explain that? Because I'm unfamiliar with that.
I'm trying to send a file to the website every day with quantities, or if I need to send such as this, which is an invoice file that goes to one of my customers, and they're going to suck it into their system. So it's an automated file that will go to a particular place, and then on the other end, there's an automation set up to pick up the file and to pull those invoices into their system or to pull in the inventory quantities into their system.
Okay. Well, I'll just give you my opinion. For about $3,000, or whatever it is that people would buy, you can't get this amount of work done. You'd have to just hire a part-time employee, some little high school kid to automate all this stuff. There's no way you could even do that for $3,000 in a year's time. And then having the peace of mind. I was recently at a conference, and it really went over big. I was an invited speaker when I said a business should automate everything that it can possibly automate, and these were dentists. A lot of people on the line that are already doing this, but that was astounding to the dentist. The other thing that was astounding was that these dentists were checking up on their employees all the time, rather than having the employees come to them and tell them what should be done. KnowledgeSync takes care of this. It goes after that employee who just can't remember to do X, and he has no more excuses. It's just such a headache reliever in the company. And for a small amount of money, it makes you look really, really good to your customers when you have this type of automation. Because I don't know about you, I think the FedEx or UPS notifies when you ship are cool, but they don't really tell you what the order is. With this product, you can send your packing slip embedded in the email or as an attachment or both. And all of a sudden, you look like you're a big-time $100 million company, somebody with sophisticated software. And this is sophisticated software. It's just not expensive.
Thank you, Tim.
You're
I got
welcome.
an email from a question from somebody. They said the product looks fantastic. Is there any sort of overview documentation we could share about the product to help sell it internally? I could send you an attachment, but there's our website. This is going to be recorded today, so you guys can have people watch it later. And I do have a PDF that just kind of is a quick summary that we pulled some of the information off of. If you want to email me, I'm more than happy to shoot that over to you as well.
Again, this KnowledgeSync seems, it just really sounds like an amazing tool. Obviously, Tim Murphy is very satisfied with it. And I can imagine a lot of our customers that would have some really good uses for this as well. So feel free to contact Michelle over at Firefly if you are interested in this program. Thank you, Michelle and Tim, for your time, as well as everybody that joined us today.
Great. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome.